Hello, how are you guys doing? It is Sunday evening at, I don't know what time it is, let's see, 9:28 p.m. I'm vlogging a little bit earlier tonight, and I'm going to pick up Tanya for a fountain pop, but she said she can't be gone too long because she has to go do a bunch of stuff at the kennel. So we're just gonna run and do that, and then I will be back to vlogging. I have literally done nothing today. I mean, like, absolutely nothing. Today was good for me because I have a really hard time just not doing anything. Like, I'm always constantly either like, okay, I'm gonna clean the whole kitchen today, or, you know, I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna film all these videos, or I'm gonna write 2 chapters, or, you know, like, I'm gonna hit 3 meetings today, or something. Like, I'm always like goal-oriented in my head, which is interesting because I wasn't like that when I was younger in my life, but I've really been like that since I got sober. And so it's like, I've talked about this before, it's like hard for me just to kind of sit and be still. And we got up today and then we went to brunch and had our regular. And so after brunch, I came home and was, you know, putting the vlog had been uploading to YouTube while I was gone, because I got up and I started uploading it to YouTube. So I got that up, and I told Alex, I said, I'm gonna drive around for a little bit and listen to my audiobook, because my goal was to listen to like 2 hours of my audiobook so I can get this audiobook done a week, like for the next couple days. And I like went and I like drove around the neighborhood and came back, and he was like, well, that wasn't very long. And I was like, I'm so tired. And he goes, I'm really tired too. He goes, what is it? I said, I don't know. I don't know why I'm so tired. I don't know if this week has caught up with me. I don't know what it is, but I'm exhausted. And so I sat there and I read a little bit, and just kind of shifted back and forth between 2 books. And at about, I don't know what time it was, but I stayed up till, I think it was like 6 o'clock, something like that, 6:30 maybe. I finally was like, Alex was upstairs and he was like watching, he's watching the Game of Thrones all through again. He must have finished it, because he came upstairs at the end and he was looking for something else to watch on Netflix, because that's not on Netflix, but he was looking for something to watch on Netflix. And right before I left, so anyway, I came upstairs and he goes, are you gonna take a nap? And I said, I'm exhausted, I'm taking a nap. So I laid down and I set my alarm for an hour and a half for 7:30. And at 7:30, like, he had gone downstairs to feed the dogs, and then he was watching TV downstairs, and he like made himself, I think, burritos. He always buys these frozen burritos and just has tons of them sitting around the house. And I was like, so I shouted down, I was like, what are you doing? He was like, I'm eating burritos and watching Ocean's 13. And I said, oh, okay. And so I went back to my alarm and I set it for another hour. And then I got up. I had the most fantastic nap. I was so relaxed and so comfortable. It was just the perfect day. It was the perfect nap. So that's what I did all day long today, was basically eat and nap. And it was fantastic. And I don't feel bad about it. And then I have, tomorrow, I have to get up because I have my very first official physical personal training appointment. I was gonna go to the gym tonight, but I'm just telling you, like, I don't know if this is like my, like, I don't usually get like sick. Like, this is like my body gets tired. My body's tired right now, but I don't feel sick at all. So I don't think it's that. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But so I've got that tomorrow at noon. And then I don't know what I'll do. Probably get a coffee and then come home and maybe do a little face mask and shower and film videos tomorrow. And yeah, I'm excited for the week ahead. I feel like we have something coming up next weekend. Oh, and then Alex has one of his work parties next weekend on Saturday night, so I'll have to find a little something to wear for that. And it's not super dressy. It's kind of like dressy on top. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? All the women always wear, like, you know, cocktail dresses and stuff. It's like this restaurant bar here in town. They do it at a different place every year. And, so like, but like a lot of the guys will wear like jeans, but then with like ties and sport coats. Do you know what I mean? It's very that. So I'll have to find something to wear to that next weekend, but that's always fun. And Boo and Tucker and Pee-Pee just slept around with me all day long until Alex, well, I mean, he was in bed most of the day too. Until they went downstairs and had dinner, and then Pee-Pee last night had horrible diarrhea. When I came home, it was so bad. And the only time this ever happens to him is when I give him, you guys, I showed him on here. And a lot of people were like, oh, my dog loves pumpkin and whatever. But I got these pumpkin treats for the dogs from Whole Foods. And it was around Halloween that I bought them. Because that was when I was doing all that pumpkin spice stuff. And they're not pumpkin spice, they were just pumpkin. They were pumpkin treats. And they were like very plain, very bland. It was like these like little soft, like, it looked like a Fig Newton kind of. And then the inside was pumpkin. Man, I mean to tell you, and I would only give Pee-Pee like half of one. These were like our second treats. Like we had other treats that we would use first, and then these were like the second treats, like if we were out of treats. And a week ago, Alex gave Pee-Pee like a half of this treat. Boo and Tucker don't seem to be affected by it. Like they seem to be able to eat them and they're okay. But Pee-Pee eats these pumpkin treats because like Alex gave him one like a week ago, and he had horrible diarrhea. Horrible diarrhea. Well, last night it was like, and he went, I don't know if he was embarrassed or what, you know, because dogs do get embarrassed. I don't know if you guys know that. I've had like vets, and Tanya has told me that too. Boo Radley got this real short haircut one time, and he got groomed, and he was real short. It was all really, really short, and he like went down, and he would like not come out of his crate. He was like, and finally we brought him upstairs, but it was like the first time he had ever been like cut like really, really short. And Tanya goes, I think he's embarrassed of his haircut. I'm like, okay. I don't know how true that is, but anyway, it's cute to think that, I guess. But dogs do get embarrassed, see? But anyway, Pee-Pee had gone down by the dog's crate, and I think there's like, it's slate down there, which thank God, because it was like easy to clean up. But, and then he came up and he just kind of looked at me, and I was like, what's wrong, Pee-Pee? And then all of a sudden, like, I was like walking to go upstairs, and the smell like hit me. I was like, oh man. And he was just like kind of looking at me like he knew he had done something wrong. I was like, it's okay, buddy, don't worry about it. And so I went and cleaned it up. But it's every time we give him those pumpkin treats. So I threw those pumpkin treats out last night. I was like, throw them out. I was talking to Alex today. He goes, yeah. He goes, I think it has to be those treats. So I don't know if maybe Pee-Pee, like his stomach is too sensitive for him, or because he can eat treats and he's completely fine. But we don't try to overfeed the dogs treats anyway. Because they're just not great for dogs. We're really weird about them. We don't feed the dogs table scraps. And, you know, forever, they were on a hard food diet. Which we still put out for them. They just, like, Pee-Pee can't eat very well because of his teeth. And Boo and Tucker, they'll eat it. But, yeah, so we always have hard food. Like, you know what I'm talking about, don't you? Like dry food. We always have dry food out for them. I've actually got to, I need to go to, maybe I'll do this later after I get done vlogging. I need to go to Meijer and get them some wet food that the vet suggested. And then I also need to get some new treats for them. I need to get something soft and chewy, but very bland. We get them those like kibble cuts or whatever they're called. I don't know what they're called. But those seem to be okay with them. We just pull them in half so they're not super huge. Anything that's a little funky, it's always like we, you know, like those cookies that you get at like bakeries and stuff, or like dog bakeries. Like Indianapolis has a couple of really cute dog bakeries. We've given our dogs those before for like birthdays and stuff. and it's like got that, you know, like the black icing or blue icing or whatever you know, whatever kind of cookie or cake you get, those destroy our dog's stomachs. I can't tell you the last time we've done that, because it's just, I think the last time was like Tucker. It just was a mess. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Those like really cute like dog cookies that you get for dogs and stuff. Yeah, we don't do that for our dogs anymore. Oh, look, this neighborhood has all their Christmas tree lights lit up. So pretty. Did you guys like the little Christmas tour of lights last night? Did you like that? Okay, I'm looking for a really good under eye cream. Could you guys recommend me something? Like, I'm like really noticing the bags under my eyes lately. So if you guys could recommend to me a good under eye cream, I don't want to pay $100, but it would be much appreciated. And I'm pulling up to Tanya, so I'm gonna get off here and I will be back in just a little while. Bye. Okay, I'm back. And I'm getting ready to leave Tanya's. I want to check the weather for the week. To see. Because it is like it's like rainy and nasty outside. Oh, why am I pulling up my Fitness Pal? Oh, I didn't even put my weight in today. Is it too late? No. Okay. Okay, so it's 56 tonight. Tomorrow, high of 38 and rain. Tuesday, are you ready? High of 26. 30 on Wednesday, 40 on Thursday, 43, 47, then it gets warm again in the 30s. And then next week, snow and rain mix, and in the 30s, all next week, it's like 30, 31, 31, 31, 31, 31, 30. So starting on Monday, 43, 37, 31, 31, 31, 30, 31. That goes to the 9th of December in Indianapolis. That's not very fun. Tony got a fountain pop, and I got a water, and I finished my coffee from brunch, and I just threw it away. I went inside her house. I'm thinking about, for Christmas, for Tanya this year, buying her, what was I just saying to her, would you want? Well, I want to do a Lush haul, and maybe a little bit of a giveaway. So, and she's wanted to go to Lush anyway. I don't think she's ever been there. So, but I was asking her if she would want something. I can't remember what it was. Oh, I bought that Belief hydrating face mask that you leave on overnight. And it's so fantastic. I used it last night. And so I asked her if she would like something like that for Christmas. But then I was in her bathroom, and she had this NYX palette that was out that I guess she uses, and it was like all nudes. And so I was thinking about like maybe getting her, you know, like a makeup palette for Christmas and some different beauty supplies and stuff like that. I think she would enjoy that. And I've got to go back to Ulta anyway, so then I could get her some things for Christmas. So I think I'm going to do that for her this Christmas. What is your favorite nude palette out there that you guys really like? Is it Nudie Patootie by Laura Lee? What time is it right now? It's 10:55. Bow, chicka bow bow. That water tastes so good. We drove around for a while. We had a nice little talk. It was fun. I hadn't seen Tanya in a couple days because we were both busy with Thanksgiving and stuff, and she would like, as soon as I got home and I was like sitting down to eat, or I was gonna lay down for a little bit or whatever, she would text me and be like, Fountain? And I'd be like, I just got home. Which back in the day, like I could lay down for 5 minutes, and if she texted me and said Fountain, I would be like, this is me getting older. I would be like, yeah, let's go. But I was, in the last week, I've been so tired. I don't know why I've been so tired. Maybe it's kind of my body adjusting to eating healthier things too. You think that could be? Who knows? This weight loss, living healthy thing is like, well, let me just say, first of all, I gotta get the shit out of my house, okay? Like, me reviewing stuff is one thing, but then to keep it in the house, like, I kept the Oreos around that I did the Oreo review, and it's not like I sit down and I have like 10, but like, I'll eat like 2 here or like 2 there, and I'll think to myself, well, they're not that bad, right? But I think 2, because I talked about this on my review, 2 Oreos is like 190 calories. I mean, it's a lot. And my weight, like, is not good this week. This is a down week for Peter. I'm not doing really great. I was at the beginning of the week, and now I'm just kind of like, whatever it. And, but like, so I said to Alex, I said, I can't have these cookies in the house. And he goes, well, just get rid of them or give them to somebody. And I said, take them to work tomorrow. I don't want them here anymore. And he said, I said, I thought you might eat them. He goes, you know, I don't ever eat, because he doesn't like chocolate, like cookies or cake. Typically, he doesn't. He will eat like tiramisu or something like that every once in a while. But typically, he doesn't like chocolate stuff. And he said, I told you I didn't want them. And I said, I know, but I thought you would enjoy them. So, and he goes, no, I told you that I didn't want them. I was like, oh, okay. So I gotta get those out of the house, and then from now on, because I can't have unhealthy stuff around the house, I just can't. And then I need to get some healthy snacks around the house, like vegetables that I can just, because when I'm hungry, I don't really care. I'm such a grazer. If it's a carrot, I mean, this is gonna sound crazy, I don't know, but maybe some of you out there are similar to this. If it's a, you know, a cookie or a carrot, I don't really care. I just want something in my mouth at that moment to chew on, you know? And honestly, like, drinking water also really helps me. Like, if I'm like really hungry, like, I'll drink like a large glass of water, and it kind of helps. But I've been trying to maybe convince myself or my mind that it helps more than it really does, because I don't know how much it really does help. But I always like crave food late at night. Like, that's the hardest part for me, is late at night. I took such a long nap today, I don't know that I'm gonna be able to go to sleep tonight. I mean, I'm sure I'll fall asleep, but I don't know that. Like, I'm up, like, I feel wide awake right now. And I don't care, because it was so fantastic. Tanya said she took a long nap. She said, how long did you nap for? She's like 3 hours. I was like, good, then I don't feel so bad anymore. She's like, why would you feel bad about taking a nap? I said, I don't know, I just don't feel real productive. She goes, it's Sunday, you're supposed to relax on Sundays anyway. Why do you feel bad about it? And I said, I don't know. I remember when, when I lived in, it must have been, I'm trying to think of when it would have been. It would have been like the year that my first boyfriend and I broke up, and when my last boyfriend and I got together. It would have been like that year, 6 months to a year in there. Like on Sundays, if I was in town, like after, like when I was alone, and then when my boyfriend would leave to go back home, because we were a long distance relationship for our first year. Like, I would go to the library where I lived at the time. The north side of Indianapolis had this great library, and you could get like movies out, you know, like DVDs or VCR things. And they had, I think it was PBS that originally aired them, but it was the Ramona Quimby books. Do you know what I'm talking about by Beverly Cleary? They had all of the Ramona Quimby books like made into like a TV show. And so each like story was like a half an hour. And I would take those out at the library, and then on Sundays I would watch them, and I got through like the whole series, but like on Sundays I would watch like 3 or 4 of them, because it always just made me feel so homey. There's something about Sundays. Well, it was interesting because I just went into Tanya's house, and she had a huge pot of ham and beans on the stove, and then she had made chocolate chip cookies. No, I didn't have any, thank God. They looked so good. And it was so funny because she goes, I made these, I go, those chocolate chip cookies look great. She goes, well, I made them from a cake mix. I got some recipe where you make chocolate chip cookies from a cake mix. And she goes, but they didn't turn out real well, and I burnt most of them. And I go, I like the burnt ones, like, because it's kind of, she knows the joke between me and my mom. But anyway, but like Tanya always makes like a big meal on Sundays. Like she'll make, you know, something huge in the crock pot, or she'll like actually like make a small turkey for her, and then she'll, you know, her and Eric, and then they'll have it for the rest of the week. Or, you know, she'll make just some big meal like chicken and dumplings, or, you know, whatever, or a roast. She makes roasts a lot on Sunday. You know, with like all the fixings around it and stuff like that. There's something very homey about all that, isn't there? You know? Back in the day, like when I first met Tanya, like every Sunday she would have kind of like a big family dinner. Was it Saturdays or Sundays? I think Sundays she did like, no, it was Sundays. And she'd always have like a lot of like sober people over, and we would go over there, and, you know, she'd have like, she used to make this dip and it was like ranch dressing, like powdered ranch dressing, mayonnaise, and something else. And it sounds so nasty, but it was so delicious. You could dip chips into it, or vegetables. And then she would make like, oh, it was Sundays, because they would sit around and watch football. Is that when football's on? I don't even know. I think it is, yeah. Because it would be like during football games. Or she'd make like a huge pot of chili, and garlic bread, and homemade cookies, and everything. And we would just show up there, and she'd have it all ready. I used to like come over to Tanya's like after work, and I would stand there in the kitchen and talk to her while she was like making dinner. And it just like amazed me that she could whip together this like huge dinner, salads, a vegetable for a side, you know, make bread. She'd be making cornbread at the same time, you know, like make some, you know, ham and beans or something like that, and just like whip it up together, you know. And she'd have it all ready in like an hour or half an hour, and I'd be like, I cannot believe you come home from working all day and put this meal together. She's like, yeah. And the reality is, and I mean, I'm not saying that it's just a gender-specific thing, but I worked with so many women that were like that, you know, that both they and their husbands worked full-time, but they were the ones that would come home and make this huge meal, you know. Eric usually does all the dishes and cleans the kitchen in their house. She likes to keep it spotless, so she's right now, like with white spray paint, flocking these little Christmas trees and tin cans, and she's making decorations for her house for Christmas. I said, I like this. What's going on here? She goes, oh, I'm just kind of messing around with this stuff. She likes to make decorations at Christmas time. Do you guys like to do that? I think it sounds fun in theory until I start it, and then I'm not real into it anymore. I used to be real artsy and craftsy and stuff like that. I loved to do arts when I was growing up. And I always had like drawing notebooks and markers and pencils and stuff. I don't do any of that anymore. I don't know why. Can you imagine when I drew? I used to always draw dresses. I'd always be designing dresses. I thought I was a fashion designer of the world. I really need to get on with my Audible. I was like telling myself that I was going to just really powerhouse it through Goblet of Fire, and then I would feel better about having gotten that done. I need to pull in here to see who's texting me. It'll probably be my husband saying he's going to bed. There was a huge accident. The reason I went this way tonight actually was because Tanya and I, we were driving around and there was like this huge accident earlier. I'm in the Pizza Hut drive-thru going the other way right now. I wish they were open and I would get a cheese pizza and breadsticks. No, I really wouldn't. I miss those little pan pizzas that were like this big from Pizza Hut with breadsticks and cheese. And then you mix the cheese and the marinara sauce. Oh my God, that's so good. You guys, I hardly ate any of my brunch today. I got the same thing I always get, and I ate my omelet. It kind of tasted a little funky today. There was something that was a little off about it. And then I got a huge plate of potatoes, and I literally ate only half of my potatoes, if even that. And then I ate half of my bagel and almost couldn't even finish. I just wasn't super hungry. And then I was gonna take the rest home because I usually do and I eat later. And I told Alex, I said, I'm not taking this food home today. And he was like, okay. He was like, you don't have to tell me. And I said, no. I said, but if I take it home, then I'll eat it later. And I said, I'll feel better if I just leave it here. And I said, but I feel like I'm wasting it. And he just kind of looked at me like, I said, but I just don't want to eat it later. Because it's my cheat day, but I've kind of had cheat moments through the week. So I need to stop that. And tomorrow I have my personal trainer, which I'm nervous as shit about because he really kicked my ass last time, and this is like, that was just testing. I don't know what the hell we're gonna do this time. But at the same time, like, I'm weirdly excited about it, you know, like getting it started. And getting really motivated about it. You know, when my dad and my mom got separated, my dad started running, and he and my stepmom ran until just a couple years ago. My dad would run marathons and stuff, and I remember the first year that he was running, it was like a goal of his to be like, to run a mini marathon, and then he and my stepmom ran marathons all over, like that. They were like, and this was long before it was ever real popular. I mean, people obviously were doing it, but it was like, you know, before, like today, it's like I know so many people that are like runners and run marathons and stuff like that. And my dad was in, like, at my age, my dad was in fantastic shape. So I guess I really have no excuse, you know, whatsoever. Indianapolis shuts down so early. Like, I mean, it's 11 o'clock and McDonald's and everything, gas stations are all, Goodfellas, everything is like closed down. Oh, somebody's up in Anytime Fitness, but that's not my Anytime Fitness. Okay, here's the situation. My parents went away for a week's vacation and they're leaving the Anytime Fitness. I love working out there. There's something about being able to be in a gym, like, and being the only one there that is, like, very comforting to me. I like just to sit on the elliptical and watch a movie. I'm gonna make this is gonna be my goal for the week, okay? Maybe every Sunday night I'll put my fitness goal for the week on, okay? Number 1, to not cheat on my diet except for on my cheat day, which will be next Sunday. That's number 1. Number 2, like not at all. To eat within my calorie goals on my FitnessPal, and to not cheat at all, and to eat healthy food on my FitnessPal. That's the other thing. Because you can eat like the calories on there, but like you could eat like a piece of pizza or a brownie or whatever. So to eat healthy food, that means fruits, vegetables, you know, Morningstar deals, all that. To eat healthy meals, and stay within my caloric goals, except for on my cheat day, which is Sunday. Oh, how will I do the Christmas party on Saturday night? Well, maybe I'll do the Christmas party in brunch. Although I don't think we go out to, they have kind of like a little buffet thing. I don't think there's like a full sit-down dinner. I don't remember. I'll just be very careful that day. And then my other goal is to work out 4 times this week. To go to the gym, the minimum of 4 times, and work out. Those are my fitness goals for this week. And to give my all tomorrow at my training session. To give my absolute all. Because it's one thing to go in there and just, you know, like I'm feeling good about my weight right now, but I think that once I get like, I don't know if you guys are like this or those of you that have lost a certain amount of weight, but for me, when I get to like a point where I'm like, I really haven't, like it's weird because I've been between like 230 and 245 for so long, well 235 and 245 for so long, but I've gravitated around 240, you know, for like the last year or so, that for me to be at 230 is usually when I'm like, you know, going on vacation. And so being under that is weird for me, but it's not so weird. It's like, if I was under 220, like for me, that's a goal that I haven't been at consistently for a long time, which is so crazy when I think about that. It's like so heavy, right? But if I was under 220 and consistently stayed there, I think I would be even more motivated, because like each 5 or 10 pounds that I lose, like I'm even really more motivated, because I'm like, okay, I can do this. Like I haven't done this in a while, you know, I can really do this, and I'm really underneath this weight. And then it's like, you know, I'm starting to notice my clothes fit better and all this kind of stuff. These jeans that I have on right now, actually, I bought them for Las Vegas, and the waist is kind of like one of those like stretchy waists, which I love. I don't even know what the brand is. I think it's that INC brand from Macy's, which I mean, they make nice suits and stuff, but I've never really bought their clothes. But they have these kind of like stretchy jeans. Like, Alex always wears skinnier jeans, right? And I don't love skinny jeans, but I wanted like skinnier jeans that were tapered at the bottom. I wanted to wear them for Las Vegas because they would look really cute with like the shoes that I bought from ASOS and stuff, right? And so before we went in there, I bought a pair of these, and then I bought a pair of black Donna Karan jeans that were kind of very similar. Well, I had washed these, but I hadn't put them on. And I was scared to death because when I was in Las Vegas, they fit me like a glove. And I was like, okay, I don't know. They had been sitting in the closet, and I was like, I don't know that I'm going to be able to fit into these jeans. You know what I'm saying? I was a little worried about it. And I was like, I don't know that I'm going to be, I just scratched my head, and that hurt. I don't know why. But I was like, I don't know that I'm going to be able to fit into these jeans. So, the other day, well, Thanksgiving, I put them on to wear, and they were like, there was like, I could, you know, get like 2 fingers into my waistband. Like, they weren't loose, but it's gonna stop. Hold on a second. Okay. They weren't loose, but they were not tight at all. And I was like, and they're so comfortable right now. And I was like, I cannot believe that I can comfortably fit into these jeans. Because I was so afraid that they were gonna shrink a bunch from when I went to Las Vegas, and they didn't. And I wore my ASO shoes. Caroline said I looked very nice. And now I have to try the black Donna Karan ones. I'm really scared to throw those on and see if those have shrunk from Las Vegas. But the other thing is, I have these Joe's jeans that are 38 waist, and I have to roll them up because they're so long, but they're real cute jeans. And they're like the jeans that I typically wear, and they have a little bit of a stretchy waist on them too, but not much. I wore them the other day, and I had to like really like tighten my belt because they would hardly stay up on me. Like if I was just standing up, they would fall off me. And they're 38s. Now Joe's jeans, I will say, fit totally to the size, or even maybe a little bit bigger. So it could be that they're more like accurately like a 40, like 38, 40, I don't know. They literally just fall right off me if I don't have like a belt looping them together on there. So I'm like, okay, I'm starting to feel good about this. My clothes are starting to feel a little bit better. But then when I stand in the bathroom and I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, I don't think you look any better or any different than you did before, you know? But that's just probably gonna come with time. I think the frustration is too that like so many times in the past, you know, like when I went on, you know, massive diets, like where I was doing the lean cuisine and stuff, like I lost a lot of weight rather quickly. And the last time that I did it, which was the year that my mom died, you know, the thing was that I lost like 40 pounds within 2 months, 40 to 50 pounds within my first 2 months. But then, you know, like I also, that was at the same time I got my ass to the gym, and I was working out like 3 to 4 days a week, and I was really motivated. I mean, 3 to 4 days a week. I was probably at the gym 7 days a week, honestly. Even like when I went to go visit my friend in Denver, like he's such a person that goes to the gym all the time. I mean, we went to the gym every day. And so I was all about that life, you know? And so once I lost the weight, I kept it off. And then when I got back together with Alex that August, I was working out at that time. And so Alex and he got a membership. At the time we worked at LA Fitness, so he got a gym membership there too. And then we would just like, I would pick him up from work after work, because, you know, he didn't have a car. He had just gotten into this really horrible car accident that summer. And so I would pick him up after work, and we would go get these smoothies at this like really healthy smoothie place by him. I remember I used to get these matcha green tea smoothies. Oh my God, they were so good. I love matcha green tea, anything. And if you guys have a really good recipe for matcha green tea smoothies, would you please let me know, that are healthy, not unhealthy. And but anyway, we go get these smoothies and then we drink them, and then we would go to the gym. Or did we go to, no, that would be afterwards. Sometimes we would go to get that afterwards, or we would go to this place called, what's that place called? And we would get chicken Caesar salads. Or I guess I would have just gotten a Caesar salad, because I guess I was a vegetarian at that time. I can't really remember. But, no, maybe I wasn't a vegetarian at that time. I don't know if I've ever told the story on here about how I stopped being a vegetarian. Have I talked about that on here? But anyway, we were working out at the gym. Literally, I mean to tell you, 5 days a week we were at the gym. So I could eat whatever I wanted to eat, and we were going out. We were eating Steak and Shake late at night, but we were going out to clubs. We were dancing the whole night. I was very active, and I stayed at that time about 180, 185. I think it was more like 185 for probably our first 2 to 3 years together. And yeah, because then when we got married, I was 190, and then I just progressively started putting weight on after that. I think it's partly, you know, you get comfortable in a relationship and a marriage and all that stuff. So Alex and I think I have told this story, but I was a vegetarian after that. So, or before, when Alex and I met, I was a vegetarian, and we I don't remember when this would have been that we went. It was like within the first 2 months of us being together, I think. I'm trying to think. August, September, October. Yeah, because it would have been like in October of that year sometime. So we, I got a cabin for us for the weekend in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. God, that seems like so long ago. And he thought I had said Nashville, Tennessee, which he then thought was Nashville, Indiana, which is by Bloomington, which is like an hour from us, max hour and a half. So we're driving down there, and like he fell asleep like right when we got in the car, and it's like a like we left at like 6 in the evening or 7 in the evening, and it's like a 6.5 hour drive, 7 hour drive, okay, to Gatlinburg from Indianapolis. And we were like he like wakes up and we're like 2-3 hours into the drive, and he goes, "Where are we?" And I said where we were, like we had just passed like, you know, Louisville or something like that. And he goes, "What do you mean we just passed Louisville?" And I go, "We just passed like Louisville, Kentucky." And he goes, "I thought we were going to Nashville, Indiana." And I go, "No." I said, "We're going to Gatlinburg, Tennessee." And he goes, "We're going to Tennessee?" We had Pee-Pee with us too. And I was like, yeah, Pee-Pee slept in a little blanket in the back. Well, not in this car. I was in a different car. Then I had a Ford Bronco at that time. No, I had a Ford Explorer. It was like a pearl color. It was beautiful. I loved that car. I had a little DVD player that came down from here. But I never watched it because it was back there. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So, he goes, "How much longer do we have?" And I said, "I don't know, like 4 hours." And he goes, "We have 4 more hours to go," which ended up being like 6 more hours because we ended up hitting construction. We got stuck in this construction traffic. It was a nice weekend. We had a good weekend anyway. It was fun. But I thought it was going to be this like highly romantic weekend in the mountains, which I learned very quickly is if there's one place to take my husband, it's not to isolate him from any kind of like Wi-Fi or anything, like, because you can't really use your phone. It doesn't work very well like in the mountains and stuff. And you know, I mean, at the time he was 24 years old and we had only been together 2 months, and you can only be intimate that much within 2 days. You know, it's just, anyway, I mean, we had fun. It was cool, but he got bored very quickly. We did a lot of shopping, I do remember that, and went into town and ate at some nice restaurants and stuff. We had fun. But, so he goes, "Well, I'm starving. We have to stop somewhere." And I said, "Okay." So he was like, I go, "Where do you want me to stop?" He goes, "Just stop at McDonald's." So we pulled through this McDonald's, and he got like a double cheeseburger. I can't remember. I mean, he just got like a double cheeseburger and like chicken nuggets or something, and then like a Coke. And I said, and then he wanted to take Pee-Pee outside to go to the, you know, go potty and stuff. So I said, so I got like a large fry and a Diet Coke, and I was miserable, right? And I was so hungry. And like every other time that I'd gone to Gatlinburg, whenever we would get there, we'd go to the grocery store, and so we would just have a bunch of food like in the cabin. And so that's kind of what my idea had been. And I was ready to just get to the grocery store, you know. But we would stop, like my mom and I would stop at McDonald's on the way down there and stuff like that. I'll tell you the mom story in a second going down there, but so we pull over and like he's letting, you know, Pee-Pee out and stuff, and he's eating. He goes, "I think I'm gonna go back in and get another double cheeseburger. I'm really hungry." And I looked at him and I go, "Okay." And I said, "Get me one too." I don't remember exactly what it was I ordered, but I do know I said, "Get me one too." And he goes, "Excuse me?" And I go, and which, this is what's really weird about Alex today, is that today, and I think it's because like of a lot of how my response was after all this went down, that because I really struggled with at that time like coming out of being a vegetarian into not being a vegetarian anymore. But I said to him, I said, "I want one too." And he goes, "Are you sure?" And I go, "Yeah, and chicken nugget, a 10-piece of chicken nuggets." I had craved chicken fingers or chicken nuggets. Like that was like, I think like often when you're a vegetarian, there's like one food that you think a lot about. Like this time, definitely for me, it's a cheeseburger, like a big cheeseburger. I don't think about chicken fingers. I don't think about chicken nuggets. I don't think about any of that kind of stuff. And I don't know know why it's a cheeseburger, which thank God today there's all these different, you know, you can go and make all these different cheeseburgers, Morningstar burgers, whatever, and you can basically get the same thing. But at that time it was like chicken fingers and chicken nuggets. And so he was like, okay. And so he went in and he got it for me and I ate it. And I mean to tell you, like, it literally was like, there was no time between when I had been a vegetarian and I hadn't been a vegetarian. Like, it just was like, it was over in that second. And I mean, I just really didn't care. But what happened was we got back to town and I wouldn't say that I was like 100% into eating meat right away. Like, I was very careful with what I ate and stuff. I mean, it wasn't like I was like right out of the gate like eating steaks. It was nothing like that. But I definitely was eating meat. I was eating a lot of chicken fingers. And what was weird was that, like, they really weren't that big of a deal. Like, I can remember, like, going, I can't remember what restaurant it was. I think it was Cheesecake Factory, actually, because they have really good chicken. If you want great chicken fingers, their chicken fingers there are so good. They don't call them chicken fingers. They call them something else, but dipped in their honey mustard is fantastic. It's like, they have really good chicken fingers at Cheesecake Factory. And I like them, like, and I used to always say this to people in restaurants and Alex would laugh, I like them like when they're like deep fried, like not the flat chicken fingers that you just put in the microwave. I don't like those. I like the chicken fingers that are like, you know, roll, like, you know what I'm talking about? So anyway, we went to this restaurant in Indianapolis called Black Market, and I don't know if it still exists. I think it does. It's like it's kind of like a high-end restaurant, but you wouldn't know it by walking in. There's a bunch of wood beams. It's very artsy, very beatnik, and we went with 3 other couples. And the whole idea of it was basically like these delicacies like from around the world. And I looked at this menu and I was like, there's literally not one thing that I can get on this menu. And I ended up getting some kind of like weird salad. Like, it was like weird, like maybe kale at the time or something, because kale wasn't real popular then. Like a kale salad, and like I got a side of like sweet potato fries or something. And it was really, there was literally nothing for me to try. But they ordered as an appetizer bone marrow, and it literally came out in this like serving dish that was like a bone. I was like, I cannot do this, you guys. Like, I mean, I literally thought I was gonna vomit at the table. And it was a couple of situations like that, like where we would go to like a steakhouse with somebody and I just would sit there and watch them cut their steak, and I just really had a hard time with it. And you know, in all honesty, it really is, like, if you stop being a vegetarian, it's a lot easier to eat, like, shit food, like fast food, because you don't consciously think of it. Like, when you're eating a Big Mac, you don't really think, like, well, this Big Mac used to be a cow walking around. You know what I mean? But, like, when you go to a steakhouse and you literally see a steak, okay, and you can physically almost kind of like equate it to what it really is, you know, which is this dead animal. It's like so hard, you know, like, I don't know, it's like something mentally switches in your head if you've ever been a vegetarian before, which I don't know that I will be forever. I don't know, maybe I'll make the decision to not be again sometime. I do know that Thanksgiving, I thought I was gonna have a really hard time, and like I looked at the stuffing and I was like, I can't do this. Like, there was like little pieces of pancetta in there, and Alex was like, do you see that there's pancetta in there? I was like, yeah, it kind of grossed me out, honestly. It didn't even look appetizing to me. So, but that was how it stopped for me. But I think that Alex saw over time, like, how much it bothered me. Because now he's like really protective of like the vegetarianism for me. Like, if we go somewhere to eat and somebody will say something, oh, you should try this, and I'll be like, no, Peter's a vegetarian. He like says it before it even comes out of my mouth. It's weird like how little he cares about vegetarianism, but that I would say to some degree, like, I know this sounds crazy, but that like he's proud of me for being a vegetarian. I think like Alex is very proud of people that are close to him that have convictions about anything. And I think that he knows, you know, that it's something that's important to me. It's weird because like sometimes I think to myself, well, do I think I'll always be a vegetarian? And then I think to myself, like, You know, I just take it day by day at this point. But I don't really often think about it. Like, it's not something I get up and I think to myself, am I going to eat meat today, you know? I don't ever do that. Like, if I go somewhere and I decide that at that moment that I want to eat a meatball or something, I guess I'll eat a meatball. But I think at least right now where I'm at, it would take a lot for me to get to that point, if that makes sense. I don't know, maybe not. So my mom and I and my ex is the very, yeah, and then our friend, he went with us too. The very first time we ever got a cabin in Gatlinburg, we left at like 8 o'clock in the evening after everybody got off work. Well, and our friend lived in southern Indiana, so we had to pick him up along the way. So we drive down there. Like I said, it's like a 6.5 hour, 7 hour drive. And this is like the 22nd of December. And I think I've told this story on here, but it's been a long time. So we, let me see the time on the camera. Okay, so we head down there. We're having fun, and you know, we're listening to Delilah on the radio, and my mom's laughing, and we're having such a good time. We're singing Christmas carols in the car. We had such a good time on the way down there. So about halfway there's this McDonald's that we used to always stop at halfway to Gatlinburg, and it's like, it's in this area that you like come down and then go back up, and it's like set off to the side. It's like this little town. I like those little towns that are like in the valley of the highway. I don't know why, but I do. Like when Alex and I would go to Florida, we did the same thing. Stopped at the same, not the same one, but like the same kind of like little town. I mean, not the same town, but similar town. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so I keep on needing to ask Tanya if she wants to do a podcast. I've gotten so many requests lately from people for me and Tanya to do a podcast. What do you guys think about that? If we did a once in a week podcast and Tanya and I called it, you know, just like Peter and Tanya Jean. We could even have like a hotline where people could call in and ask questions or give us suggestions on things to talk about. What do you guys think about that? And where would you want me to do it? Like on iTunes, on YouTube, like on some podcast service? Like, I don't even know. I'd have to look into it. But what do you guys think about that? Let me know if you like the idea of a podcast with me and Tanya. I don't want to do it just me. It would be me and Tanya. Because if I'm going to do something, I need to do something different. It doesn't need to be more of Peter Monn. It needs to be Peter and some, you know what I mean? We need to mix it up a little bit, don't you think? So anyway, but a lot of people have asked for that, so I keep on meaning to ask her. I think she would totally be down to do it, especially because I think that we could, what does that say in front of the Christmas tree? It's so pretty. I think we could just record it, like, and have it in the car. I actually have one of those recorders. I started a podcast years ago, around Halloween time, and nothing ever came of it. And so I bought the little recorder thing. So I have it, and I don't know how you use any of that kind of stuff. So I would have to kind of like maybe re-educate myself and figure it out and find out where you upload it and all that. You guys know I don't know any of that kind of shit. So anyway, but if that's something that you guys would enjoy, let me know in the comment section below. I think I'm not gonna do the Christmas book, at least not right now. I do like the idea of maybe releasing a chapter a week of some kind of book, and it being an ongoing book, almost kind of like a soap opera was what I was thinking. I don't know, I'm kind of like running that through my head right now. I just think for me to try to put a book together and out by the time that Christmas Day is done and have it come out slowly, I won't do it, and I won't follow through with it, and then I'll be upset that I didn't follow through with it, so I'm not gonna do that. But I am working on that, so I don't know when that will be out. But anyway, so we stopped at this McDonald's, and I remember we went inside. It was so cold outside. We went inside, we were gonna eat it in there, and I love eating in fast food restaurants. Don't ask me why, I don't know. But we went into this McDonald's, and I remember my mom was like looking, and I was like, Mom, okay, we've all ordered, what do you want? And she was like, she said to the woman, she's like, is the fish sandwich any good? And she's like, I mean, it's a fish sandwich. And my mom's like, well, what kind of fish is it? She goes, square. My mom goes, excuse me? She goes, I mean, it's just square frozen fish that we eat. She goes, oh, so you don't know what it is. Is it orange roughy? Is it tilapia? The woman's like, I have no idea, it's just fish. It's just a fish sandwich. My mom goes, oh, how's your chicken sandwich? Is it any good? She went through this whole thing. My mom would do all of this, right? When we would go out to dinner, she'd say like, they would ask her what she wanted to drink. She'd say, I guess I'll just have a glass of water. And then they go, okay. And then they start writing it down. She'd be like, actually, do you have milk? And then they'd say, yeah. And then she'd say, do you have skim milk? No, we just have, regular milk. Do you have tea? We have tea. Do you have sweet tea? No, we don't have sweet tea. I was really wanting some sweet tea. Do you have raspberry tea? No, we don't have raspberry tea. Well, Applebee's has raspberry tea. Do you have lemonade? We have lemonade. Do you have raspberry lemonade? Because my mom loved anything raspberry. No, we don't have raspberry lemonade. Well, what sodas do you have? And they'd go through all the sodas. And then she'd say something like real out there that you'd never think of, like a Shasta. She was like a Shasta. No, we don't have a Shasta. And you don't have raspberry lemonade? No, we don't have raspberry lemonade. I guess I'll just have a glass of water. She would do this seriously at restaurants all the time, okay? It would drive my aunt would go crazy. So, so she finally gets this fish sandwich and we sat down and we're eating it. My mom's like, I'm so happy that we're almost there. This is so exciting. I go, Mom, we have quite a ways to go. Yeah, we have like 4 hours. She goes, we still have 4 hours to go? And I said, yeah, Mom, we have like 4 hours to go until we get there. And she said, oh my. So we drove and we finally got into like, so when you get into Gatlinburg, you go through Pigeon Forge, right? And Pigeon Forge is like, it's kind of a little like Vegas-y, like it's a lot of the like, as seen on TV stores, which I would love to hit one of those up right now. I wish we had one in Indianapolis for my review channel. And then it's a lot of like touristy stuff. Like it's fun. It's like, go-karting and miniature golf and all this kind of stuff. And, like the Museum of Wonder and the upside down Titanic and all that kind of stuff. It's fun, but at the same time, it's just kind of gimmicky. It's a lot of family stuff. We used to go there, when we went, we would do like the putt-putt golf, the miniature golf. They have a lot of different ones that are like really fun. They have one back there that they call like Hillbilly Golf, and you take these little like trains as you go up this little like fake mountain. It was really cool. But anyway, then at the very end, you come and there's like this hotel next, it's like this famous hotel in Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge. And then that's the last thing on the left, and then you go through, if you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. Then you go down this long and winding road, right? And this road is beautiful. There's like a creek that runs through it and whatever. Well, this is the road that takes you into Gatlinburg. And Gatlinburg is a little touristy too. I mean, there's like the, what's the one museum, the Believe It or Not museum, that one, and a couple other things. But it's little stores, it's very cute, it's very quaint, and there's like, a river that runs through the town, and there's like gondolas that go up the mountain and stuff. But you're literally like on the side of a mountain in Gatlinburg, okay? I mean, you're already up pretty high. So, I'm like reading these directions to, and this is way before we had the GPS on the phone and stuff like that where you just put stuff in. I literally have printed out directions, okay, from online. And I'm trying to figure out like where to go and stuff like that. And my mom starts panicking because we like go up. And she's like, I don't know, like, if I could do this, and like, what are you doing? You're taking me up the mountain, and why are you taking me up the mountain? And I'm like, what are you? Okay, my camera stopped, and then I had to turn around. So anyway, my mom was like, you're not taking me up the mountain, you're not gonna take me up the mountain. I was like, what are you talking about, take you up the mountain? She's like, where is this cabin? And I was like, it's up here, we have to go up here. And the thing is that like, when you go up into the, like, and there was the couple times that we stayed there, we would go to different, because we stayed in different places. The first 2 years we stayed at the same place, which is called Gatlinburg Falls. And if you want a fantastic cabin, Gatlinburg Falls is incredible, and I loved their cabins. I haven't stayed there in forever, but they're pretty reasonably priced, and they're always having deals, especially if you go, like, between now and Christmas, it might be pretty expensive, but if you go at, like, random times that other people, aren't going there, You can get really good deals. I think it's expensive in the summer too. So anyway, but when you go up, you literally go up these roads that are like, I mean, they're extremely steep. And so my mom was like, you're taking me up the mountain, you're taking me up the... I said, I'm not taking you up the mountain. We had the same conversation the last time that we went to, when we were like going to Cherokee National Forest, like on the ice. She's like, you're taking me into the icy mountain. I'm like, I'm not taking you to the icy mountain, which I was taking her on the icy mountain, but I didn't know how icy it was. But anyway, so she's like, I can't do this, I can't do this. She's like, just go back, I'll stay in a hotel for the night. I go, what are you talking about? You'll stay in the hotel for the night. She says, I'll just stay in a hotel and then I can walk up and see you guys. I'll just stay in a hotel. I go, okay, first of all, Mom, it's like, at this point, it's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, Mom, there are no hotels, and I'm still driving up as she's saying this, right? She's like, don't do this to me, don't do this to me. My mother was panicked about heights and stuff like that. And I'm like, Mom, it's fine, we're, you know? And I'm even thinking to myself, this is a little steep, you know? So, she like completely panics. We get into the, finally I get her into this like area where it's like all these cabins and like, you know, and then it evens out, right? Because there's like a parking lot next to the office. And she's like, I've got to get out of this car. So she gets out of the car, and then you're standing there like in a parking lot, right? And you don't really, I mean, you can see the trees, you can see the cabins that are up above us, because all the like this is down here, and then all the cabins you have to like drive up to, you know? And you can see them, and it's like beautiful. I mean, it was so beautiful. That area is unbelievable. It's so pretty. And if you guys don't know, like the reason why I wanted to start spending Christmases in Gatlinburg was because I was obsessed with the Christmas movie Smoky Mountain Christmas with Dolly Parton. Okay? I know it sounds cheesy, but this is really what started it. And my aunt and uncle, every other year, would go out of town because they had a place in Longboat Key, Sarasota. So they would go. Well, I said to my mom, I was like, why don't we just, I mean, are you going to be okay to go away? And she was like, yeah, let's do something different. So that's why we started it. And then after that, we did it every year until my mom passed away. Because I loved it just so much. And we would always have Christmas with my aunt and uncle before, and then we would go to Gatlinburg. So anyway, I think like, they actually went a couple more years, like they went like the last 3 or something before my mom died or something, but anyway. So we get out of this office and we go in there, and you know, it's past hours, so you just go in, there's like a key in a box, and it tells you directions to get to like the cabin and how you get there and whatever. And we're just like all ready, you know, to go up and get into the cabin so that we can like go to Kroger get up and go to Kroger the next day and get groceries and whatever. And, or did we do it that night? No, we didn't do it that night. So anyway, we get into this cabin, so I'm like, Mom, we have to go up to the cabin now. And she's like, I'm not getting back in the car. You're not taking me up any higher into the mountain. I go, it's literally like a street up, Mom. That's all we have to go. She says, I'll just walk and follow the car. I said, Mom, it's too steep. You can't do that. She's like, no, I'll just follow the car. I'm like, get in the car. So finally we get her in the car. We drive her up there. And it's this most adorable cabin in the entire world. And I had picked one that didn't look out over the city. I picked one that looked out over the mountains, so you got a whole view of the Smoky Mountains. It was gorgeous. And so we go inside, and all of them at a lot of these cabins, like they don't have real fireplaces. They have like those fake fireplaces. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? I'm not talking about a gas fireplace. I'm talking about like a legit fake fireplace that has like a screen on it, but they look kind of real. So anyway, we go inside, and you know, the outside's like all stone and wood, and then we walk inside, and it's like set back. Like they're all kind of close together, but it's set back, you know, 100 feet from the next cabin or whatever, into the woods kind of. They're private, and there's this huge kitchen. The whole place is wood, floor to ceiling wood. I mean, it's legit a cabin, right? A log cabin. And so it's like the kitchen, and then there's like the this living room area that had like 2-3 couches and this huge screen TV and a fireplace. And we had brought like a little Christmas tree to put up. They had the whole place decorated for Christmas, and so the whole cabin was all decorated for Christmas with garland and a Christmas. It was fantastic. And when we went back, And the bedrooms were like, I think there was like we go down the basement, and there were like 2 bedrooms downstairs, and the master bedroom was like upstairs, like in this loft. And then in the back was like this, because each cabin was completely different. That's one of the things I loved going year after year, was that you never knew. The last cabin that my mom stayed in the last year was the most fantastic. And I think it was called something like Sterling Springs cabins. And these cabins were legit. Like, you walked in and it was like granite countertops in the kitchen, you know, beautifully decorated, and they looked like they were decorated by Ralph Lauren. They had huge leather couches, hot tubs. You know, all of them have like video game systems, you know, like big standing up, like, you know, like you're in an arcade. Plus they have like pinball machines, huge screen TVs. Some of them have movie theaters in them. Some of them have indoor pools in them. I mean, they're fantastic, you guys. And the thing is like, if you were to go, you know, like let's say at Christmas time or in the summer or whatever, it would be expensive. But you could go and stay in the same cabin, like on an off season, for literally like a quarter of the price. Like, it's unbelievable. I need to actually get online and look at those and see if maybe Alex would want to do that. Tanya and I always talk about doing that for a weekend, but we never do it. So, but we could go like maybe like a Wednesday and a Thursday or something. Because I'd like to go to that As Seen on TV outlet store too. They have a bunch of those stores down there. So anyway, and I will never forget that we went to bed, and the beds were like, they had these, what do you call them, on them, like these quilts and stuff, and the beds were so comfortable. And I remember the next day we woke up and I was like, where's my mom at? And our friend was like, she's outside walking around. I went outside, my mom's like, it is so awesome here. She's like, it is so beautiful. She's like, we're really not as high up as I thought we were. I was like, see, Mom, you panicked for nothing. She's like, I know. She was like, I'm so sorry I panicked. She's like, you're so sweet for bringing me up here. This is so fantastic. And we went down and we went to the grocery store, and we got like sausage biscuits and, you know, cinnamon rolls, and we got all kinds of stuff to make. And my mom made a huge pot of chili that week, and we had all kinds of frozen pizzas, and we stayed up, and we had brought games, Monopoly and Apples to Apples, and we played games, and we got in it was so fun. We had the most fun that weekend, or that week. We were up there for like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 days. It was really, really fun. Those Christmases in Gatlinburg, even the last one with my mom, were some of the best Christmases of my life. I told Alex, I said, you know, we should like rent a cabin in Gatlinburg and all of us go down there for, you know, like a weekend for Christmas with all the kids and stuff like that. And in the summer, like, these places have pools, and so you can take the kids to the pool during the day. There's Dollywood, because I want to go to Dollywood so bad. There's all kinds of shopping. I mean, there's tons of stuff for people to do there, you know? If you've never been to Gatlinburg and you live somewhat close, like, it is a great place for a family vacation. But in all honesty, like, if I was single, I could go down there and get like a 1-bedroom cabin for the weekend and have just as much fun by myself. There's so many places to go. And I remember, so my mom was a Pi-Phi, right? And so, I've talked about that on here before. Well, most sororities and fraternities have like a charity that they work with. And so, the Pi-Phi charity is called, I think it's called the Arrow. And it's actually, the store is in Gatlinburg. And this was like one of the things that my mom really, really wanted to do, was she wanted to go to the Arrow store. I think it's called the Arrow, because it's Pi-Phi sign is the Arrow. And so what it is it's like all of like the people in like this Appalachian area, like, that make arts and crafts, they sell them in the Arrow, and like all the money and the proceeds that are made from this store go back into people in that area that don't have, you know, money to survive and things like that, for food and shelter. And so we went in this store. It's a really cool store. If you ever go to Gatlinburg, go check it out. It's actually like a little house. It's really cute. And they have all kinds of stuff, like doily napkins, you know, that are like handmade by Lace, and, you know, just pottery things, and all, I mean, clothes, everything you can imagine they have in the store. It's very cool. So we go in there. My mom's talking to this woman. Of course, you know, the store is about like charity. It's not about Pi-Phis. And so my mom's talking to this woman, and she's like, well, I'm a Pi-Phi. And the woman's like, you are? She's like, uh-huh. And the woman said something, my mom goes, so I'm a Pi-Phi. So, you know, this is our charity organization. The woman's like, she could give a shit, you know, that my mom is a Pi-Phi. She probably has, you know, 10,000 Pi-Phis that walk through there every year trying to act like they're somebody because they're a Pi-Phi. You know what I mean? She doesn't care. That was such a fun trip. Miami is to Alex and I kind of like what Gatlinburg was to my mom and I a little bit. Like Miami's kind of like our second home place that we go, and we have our, you know, we always go to like, you know, Alex and I, when we fly into Miami, the first thing that we do is we get an Uber and have them take us to Doji's, that restaurant, the Venezuelan restaurant. We take our suitcases right into the restaurant and everything. And Alex loves that place so much because it reminds him of when he was growing up in Caracas, and you know, he always gets a huge arepas, and like they have them like real, you know, like all kinds of different stuff there. And the last time I was there, I was a vegetarian, so I got yuca fries, and I think I got like a bean and cheese empanada. But it's so heavy that after you eat it, you're like so full and ready to go to bed anyway. Then we can just go back to the hotel and we like lay out until our room is ready, and then we go put our stuff in our room, and then we walk around the beach. We walk around Miami, and we go see the things we love to see. And usually that first night, we like, you know, which is like always a Thursday, because then Ultra starts on Friday, unless it's like a time of the year that it's not Ultra. And then we, you know, go out usually that first night and walk around and, you know, go to some club or something like that. I love Miami so much. I was talking to somebody the other day, I can't remember who it was. I feel like it was during Thanksgiving though. Maybe it was Caroline's husband. Somebody was like, would you really live in like Miami, like South Beach? And I was like, oh, absolutely. And they're like, if you could afford it, you would live in South Beach. I'm like, absolutely. Like, I can't afford it, but if I could, I would live right in downtown, like right, you know, at like 13th and Collins or 13th and, you know, Ocean Drive, right there I would live. I just love that area so much. And it's so fun just to like get up and go get a coffee at the Starbucks, you know, and walk around with your coffee and go to the beach, and it's just, God, I love it so much. It's expensive down there though. I mean, Alex and I were talking about that because we're really trying to figure out what we're going to do this year for Ultra, because Jason and Melissa are going with us, but they're only going till Monday. And we usually stay a lot longer than that. And Alex is like, you know, maybe we should, I think I've talked about this on here before, but he's like, maybe we should, like, when they fly out, we should fly out too and go to like Mexico and go stay in an all-inclusive, because for the same price that we would get for staying in Miami, when you add up like the hotel room and the food, because hotels and food are really expensive in Miami. And he said when you add it all up, we could like get more bang for our buck and maybe even stay longer if we went to like an all-inclusive like Unico or something like that, where we stayed in Mexico. And I'm kind of like, it's just a lot of traveling, but I said something to Tani about it the other day, and she goes, oh, I think it sounds like a lot of fun. I go, you don't think it sounds like a lot of traveling? She's like, no, I think it sounds like fun. And at first I was like, it's gonna be so much more expensive to do that, but when I added it up, it really is less than if we stayed in Miami. So I'm like, well, maybe we should do that. Because that's our one big trip a year that we take, you know? I love to travel. I'm thinking about just figuring out a trip and surprising my husband. But I looked at like weekends in like around the end of the year, you know, I looked at weekends to go to like Miami or something. Oh my God, it's so expensive. To go to Miami for New Year's Eve, forget it. Forget it. It is so expensive. I mean, you could do it and stay somewhere that like you didn't really want to be, and it could be real, I mean, anything you can do affordable, but I was like, this is so expensive. I've got to get that turn signal fixed. I think it's my rear one. And then Caroline was telling me that a lot of people, like, if you look at, like, trips to go somewhere, let's say, you know, January 5th, 6th, something like that, it's not too expensive. So I'm like, well, we could do that. But isn't that a time that a lot of people go places that it's expensive? I don't know. I don't know much about clothes, but my hair looks fierce. What time is it? How long have I been playing? It's 12:09. 12:09 a.m. What you know? Well, listen, I think I'm going to get off here and listen to my audiobook for at least an hour before I go home and go to bed so I can be up early for my personal training appointment tomorrow. Wish me luck. I will probably vlog on the way there if I remember to grab my camera. And I hope you guys are having a fantastic Monday. You made it through Thanksgiving. You made it through the weekend, Black Friday shopping, and now it's upward and onward to Christmas. Anyway, I love you guys, and I hope you're having a fantastic beginning of your week. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.